Okay. So let's start with GD, and the topic for GD is conflicts between countries is leading to effect on global peace. What do you think is the solution to it? Economy, military power, or intervention of international organizations?
Okay. If we talk about the global peace and the effects on global peace, it can be many. For example, terrorism on a global level. Secondly, difference between economies, developed countries and developing countries. Military is one of the problem when it comes to the arm race, and not all the international organizations are working properly. So all these can be the problems of global peace, or the problems which are leading to global peace. According to me, if we will see the solutions, then we can say that combine if we combine economy, military power, and international organization as a whole working for global peace, then we can say some solution can be derived out of it.
We have to
Now you
take
take it.
we have to take one lead and like advocate about it, right? Right, Nikhil?
Okay.
No. In GD, it is said that you should have a normal discussion like you have with your friends. You
Hmm.
don't have to take any sides. You can take a neutral stand also. You can also add other points than all just these 3 points. They are just lead points. You can add any of the points you want. It should be normal
Okay.
discussion. You don't have to come to a conclusion. Nothing. You just have to share your views on it.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
so
how
these
GD
are
has to be.
these are merely the leads only, just to start the
Mm.
GD,
We
right?
have to
Yes.
give our own points, है ना?
She gave her own points about economy, about
If
military
we'll talk
power.
about economy, then how economy is going to help. For example, if we will talk about free trade agreements between many countries, India has also signed it with many countries. For example, UAE and Forum or organization. So these kind of economic forums or agreements will help and also give small countries a platform or a ground where they can also come and trade with other international powers or global leaders. So one of my point is that economy can boost the developing and developed nations in this way. Now you
Okay,
people are.
gentlemen. So the major problem of conflicts between countries among countries are the war of is the war of resources. Resources are in limited resources are in limited nature, and we have to like utilize the resources to its more effectively. So I think the more emphasis should be given on the equitable distribution of resources according to the population, and I would adhere to the point that economy plays a major role in resolving the global in resolving the conflicts among the countries. I would also like to put on the light uh, uh, on the recent war between Ukraine and Russia. It is not the war. In my view, it is the war. It is the war for resources only. And military power also. If a country has strong military power, like as we can see in the case of USA, no one wants to fight USA because it has very strong military power. So the fear of military power in itself uh, resolve the conflict to an extent. And
Gentlemen,
while we
as it's
talk,
said that. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yes, please.
No, continue, Nikhil.
Gentlemen, as it's said that a peace can be only maintained when every country is at par with each other. If a country is stronger than another, then it shows its dominance. It has been seen in the world, like China's dominance in the South Asian Sea, and all over Asia, like Russia's domination
And
today in the Ukraine war, and America's domination over the worldwide.
But
Today there
Yeah.
is a
it would be,
competition between countries
but
to become the world power.
it
Every
would
country
not be
wants to become a world power and a global
exactly.
economy and want to play at global politics, want to be
Hmm.
at a
The
good level
war
in
between or
that
the
other
conflict
countries also
between
respect.
Russia and Ukraine is mainly the point is that Russia wants to prove its dominance over Ukraine. It is not about resources, but it is more about the
It
The
dominance.
is always
it
about
is
dominance. See, every and the
dominance
dominance is
also plays a
affected by
dominance also plays a
dominance is
vital role, obviously. In the case of Ukraine Russia war, Ukraine wants to join NATO, but Russia asked Ukraine not to join it. And then again, the leading factor somewhere down the line is resources. It is always about resources. Like China, if we talk about China, China trying to get Taiwan, control over Taiwan. The reason for it is resources only. The population is increasing and very exponentially. So in future as well, resources will play a vital role. And if we talk about
So
Russia and Ukraine war only, the international organization that we are that is given in the GD topic, like international, how the intervention from international organization, I don't think it plays any role. It is just a watchdog, not a bloodhound.
yeah,
So
everything
international
is connected.
organization.
I mentioned about the dominance of countries. Everyone
mhm,
want to have a dominance over the country and show their power to the world. Today,
mhm,
everyone US is a global dominator. Then other
mhm,
than US, the second ranking is of China. As Russia's economy has military power is already used in US in Ukraine war and it's weaker now. China is growing its dominance, and the dominance one factor is the military power. As US is the strongest forces in the world, so it has captured many islands, and it also took part in Afghan war, Iran, everywhere it takes part in military operations. Second, the military operations are connected with economy. As USA have the strongest army because it is the most modern army. They have the high tech equipments and they come with high budget. And USA have a huge defense budget. Along with the budget, then comes our international organization. Like today, we are having a quad formation. See, to counter China's dominance in the South China Sea and with the Taiwan also. So in that area, everything is connected. I will say, my friends. Uh, See,
All the
all the
things.
international organizations they take part so that to make global peace and to also show their dominance. Like America have is friends with the NATO countries, with the European countries, and this is
India
not
is also
the
trying
war.
to
The reason behind the
get.
Ukraine war is also the same, that Ukraine wants to be a part of NATO, and the
mhm.
war is not new between Russia and the NATO countries. It was in the Cold War period also, because the same reason everyone wants to show their dominance. The Cold War was there because Russia and USSR both wanted to show their global dominance during that time. Today the world is unipolar world, and America is feared that China is growing
But in
power.
today's
So
world, there is no such term as superpower. Superpower has exhausted. That term is exhausted. And USA, if we'll talk about US's defense forces, the naval forces of China is more stronger today than USA. So we can say that everyone, all the nations are competing with each other as to show their dominance. So if we'll talk about
Gentlemen,
the how.
Gentlemen, if we talk
How
about how we can achieve global peace,
yeah.
global peace means where the people can live without fear, and everyone has food on their table, on their plate. And it is not a utopian country. It is not a utopian dream. Countries like Sweden, which has not been indulged in any war recently, is been doing good. Is been highest in every index, every human
Yeah,
development index. Like
happiness index. I think Finland is the most happiest country of the world.
no, so the thing is, what do you think? How we can achieve global peace? So
the
I would be in favor of economic only. Economy with like, if we talk about military power, if we are strong enough, then people will have that fear. Like once Winston Churchill mentioned that keep a stick, but don't use it. Like somewhat like this. It
hmm,
just to like it is just
It is just to be on the defensive part, just to
defensive part.
tell
Exactly.
your enemies that we are at defensive part. We can, if you will harm us, we can use the second strike capability. It is
Hmm.
not to be offensive. So I think military part is also important, but
Yes.
just for the sake to protect ourselves. It's
Hmm.
not in India's case. If I'll talk, the nuclear policy India is following is that no first use policy, but
Hmm.
still India is possessing or having nuclear weapons. So it doesn't mean that we have to be offensive all the times if we are having a military power also, but it is just to protect ourselves from others
Yes, I
or
tot
from the neighbors like China and Pakistan.
I agree
So
with
I
Monica.
think,
There are many factors in the global peace. We are talking one factor, it is defense. See, if a country is weak, then suppose India is weak. So Pakistan would have already fought a war with us and took some part of our
yeah,
country. See, today a few seven countries have the nuclear powers, if I'm right. No one uses
I
them,
think
but it is a
9.
guarantee that no one will attack them also. So this is one of the step of taking peace, because there will be no war. As I mentioned, if everyone is stronger, if everyone is at par, then no war is there. If a country is stronger, then it will show its dominance. So having a good military power is important. Second is a good economy. It is also related to the military power and economy. I also mean trade relations. If we have good trade relations with other countries, because the world is changing, it's not only about the military power and the strength, it is
Yeah,
about also about the economy, about trade relations, about the cultural relations with the nations, like
I don't think
in
cultural relations
mm,
plays any vital role in sharing global peace, as per se. Like if we talk about economy, then uh, if the war wages among the countries, like in the case of Russia-Ukraine war, Russia has been put on the back stand because of many sanctions put on by the USA and other countries on the Russia, because it was aggravating the war, initiating
but
the war.
Russia-Ukraine conflict is also harming whole world, not just the two countries, but all the eastern part, the India and USA. Or if we'll talk about other countries, all the countries are somewhere facing problems. So at a
yes,
global
the
level, if two countries are at war, that means that it will affect others also.
other countries also. And
So,
see,
and
Russia's
you
case
talked
with
about,
Ukraine is about the show of power, because
yeah,
Russia was demanding some area, as we all know, so it was completely a case of power. But and international organizations also play a very important role. Like we have Quad, and there is another AUKUS group. It is made by US to counter China's influence. So that China
if
should also know
we'll
there is
talk about
also a
UN,
stronger
that
countries
is
in the region.
United.
Otherwise, he will dominate all the other countries in the area.
Hmm.
Similarly, like we'll say about economy, the trade relations are very important between countries. As I mentioned, cultural relations also, they are important, but not as trade relations. If we have very good trade relations with any of the countries, then definitely our
But
relations
I
are also
think
going to be better.
cultural relations are also important because it will
Yeah.
help us to diversify our population and our values, which will make countries good, which will help
Yes.
countries to develop good relations, and they will
Yes.
become good friends. For example, if
Yes.
we'll talk about UAE and India, they are good friends. That means they have some, and they also share some cultural
Yes.
ethnicity and heritage.
Like in the Middle East, there is a lot of soft power of India. There are many Indians which live in this Middle East area, and the most remittance come from these areas. It is the most remittance sent by any area to a country. India gets the highest remittance from the Middle East area also, and we also get remittance a lot from Canada and USA. A lot of people live there. There's a lot of diaspora between the countries, and
So
USA is
culture
celebrating
also
Diwali
plays a very
since
important
2003.
role.
Hmm.
Since 2003,
And
USA is celebrating
recently we
Diwali.
had,
It is a example of cultural relation between the both countries.
yeah,
Third is
in New
having good
Zealand
policies,
also had New
and
Zealand
to have
also had declared holiday on in
on
schools on
Diwali.
Diwali. Yeah.
Only a
Yes, so
province,
this
only a province in USA has declared it. Not
No, no, in New
the whole.
Zealand.
New Zealand. So this
Yeah,
is
Okay.
in New
about
Zealand.
the show of cultural power. The soft power comes to play, and we have every country have to sort out the one major problem is the land border deals.
Yeah,
See, if we are in, if I'll take the example of India, we are not at peace with China, Pakistan, because of our border issues. Last year, it happened with Nepal also. It was very good friend of ours, but because of the
Kalapani
Limpiadhura,
incident.
Lepu Lake, and all the Kalapani region, it was
Mm.
fighting with us. Same happens with many a times with Bangladesh because of the porous borders. The migrants come from there. The illegal
Tista
weapons are there.
Water River dispute.
There are so many disputes because of the land border agreements, and we don't have any issues with Bhutan because one major reason is we don't have any land dispute with it. And see,
Yeah.
if we solve a land dispute, then the relations become very good. For example, Nepal solved all the disputes with China, and today Nepal and China don't have any land border disputes, and their friendship is growing. Even they are making a railway connection near our Siliguri. And last year, Nepal was fighting with us, so that he was thinking that China is at his back because they don't have any land border disputes. In Israel, we can see Israel was formed in around 1950s, in in the 20th century. It was formed. All the Jewish people came there and they took that area. And today Israel is not having good relations in the Middle East. And today we also, when we look at the West Asia, we have our three policies. One is for Iran, one is for Israel, and one is for the rest of West Asia, all the Sunni world. Land border dispute is one of the major reasons which have to be sorted out to have good relations. For example, in Arunachal Pradesh also, China considers it the part of Tibet, and he always claims Arunachal Pradesh. Maybe in future also he will attack there to capture the area. There, if land border disputes are not solved, then definitely something is going to happen. And if our
I agree with
if our military was weak, it would have attacked earlier also. Since and many 20-30 years back, it would have attacked again on Arunachal Pradesh. But now he knows that we are stronger, so he is waiting maybe to increase his economy, to build his forces more. But the time he will think that he is stronger enough, he may come back again.
also international organization we talk about. For example, if I take the example of UN, that is United Nations, it is well known for peacekeeping forces, you know. So the peacekeeping forces are playing a very important role, but somehow institutions like UN are failing in keeping or maintaining peace because of the role of USA. So all the countries should came together to form some good organizations, or we can say we can modify the working of the existing international organization, so the peace could be maintained at the global level. If we talk about the UN peacekeeping forces, these forces are somewhere destroying and somewhere maintaining peace wherever they are sent. So a proper schedule or proper hearings should be uh, done so that all the nations
And
can put
I
down their points
I
so
want to
that
add up
peace
to
could be.
Monica's point that UN plays a very important role,
Yeah.
and there should be a common ground on which things are measured. For example, there is a common rule that 220 nautical miles area around the sea is of a country. Many countries follow it, but China doesn't follow it.
No, it is
China
not
claims
that
the seven dash line
220.
nautical
It
miles
is not. No, it is not. It is exclusive economic zone. Mainly, only
uh,
12 nautical miles come under a country, and
come under the
on that
country.
yeah, only
Uh,
on that
and
area we
220
can
is a
regulate.
yes, 220 is a special economic zone. But a country has power to
Make laws
use
only
the
if,
resources of that area
yeah,
that
all the
comes.
countries
So
can use the resources, but no country can make the laws according to that.
there
So
are
we can't
islands
claim that it is wholly
in
solely
the
our
South China Sea.
area.
There are islands, and China is claiming them according to seven dash line. Earlier, he was claiming according to nine dash line.
That is because of China's expansionism policy, and
See,
as the name suggests, it's South China Sea. So, if we'll talk about
Gentlemen,
Indian Ocean,
in
then
my
India also.
in my view, I don't think international organizations play a very vital role in and I don't think international organizations are in a way very successful in stabilizing peace in the world. Like in the case of if we talk about International Court of Justice, so there are many countries who have not signed up with International Court of Justice, and which doesn't bind them to follow their rules. If we talk about UN also, the UN is obviously a recognized body, is involve many countries. But the thing is, any country can refuse to follow the instructions given by UN or orders given by ICJ. So
yes, yes.
I we can
That
I
is
only
what
agree
we
to,
said, that
I
international
agree to somewhat what you say,
organization.
Bhuvnesh. I agree to it that it's upon the country whether they accept it or not. But there are two factors. One I would like to mention is about the military exercises which we or any other country do with any other country. It shows that not one single country is dominant in that area. There are a group of countries which will act if something mishappens there. So this is a surety. This keeps the stronger country in mind that he cannot dominate the weaker country in that area. And
military
second, I
exercise
was
military exercise
military.
doesn't guarantee military exercises among countries doesn't guarantee that in the case of war those countries will join hands and like support each other. It is just
This
a
definitely shows
contingency
the
It is
exercise.
friendship of
just
the
to
countries.
develop, yeah,
Hmm.
it is
This
just to
definitely
develop
shows
the
the friendship.
relation.
This develop relations. The relations will be better, and it also shows that not just one power is strong in the country. It cannot dominate the entire area. There are other countries also who will retaliate in to it.
It sends
And the second thing I was
hmm,
mentioning is having a common rule. See,
hmm,
there China follows the 7 dash line. Others are saying that we'll follow the 220 nautical miles special economic zone thing because of there are high resources can be
hmm,
found in the South China Sea.
hmm.
So all are if there was a common ground like China also agrees for the 220 nautical mile line, then the disputes in the South China Sea won't happen. Today is not agreeing to it. Similar things happen like
And then if
there should
we'll
be
talk
one
about the
common
Gulf
ground on which
countries and Strait
everyone
of Hormuz,
agrees.
so
Yes,
the Strait of Hormuz is less than 12 nautical miles. Then all the countries of Gulf of Oman will start fighting for their 12 nautical miles. So it is important to stabilize the policies on
mm.
a global level. International
Yes, one
international
common policy should
organizations
be
will
followed.
make, yeah, exactly.
Every country have
International
to come
organizations
together
will,
to countries have to come together for this. Like similarly, other than Strait of Hormuz, the other two states, Strait of Oman and the Persian Gulf, then there is Red Sea, Caspian Sea, all these. There are so many countries. In the Caspian Sea also there
exactly,
is a
then
Central
we
Asia.
can,
Everyone will fight. If they don't agree to one common term, then there
yeah.
will be problem.
So international organizations are important to not
Everything
just to
plays
maintain
some
peace,
part.
but yeah, exactly.
Everything have some important part in maintaining relations. And
in
one
long term.
important, very important thing is like
Hmm,
our policy is neighbors first. If we
hmm,
have good relations with, it is said by very uh, renowned people that if a country have good relations with neighbor, it will always be at peace. Because like today also we don't. If we'll have problem with Russia also, it won't matter us. The most problem that will matter is our neighbors. If our neighbor will be at problem there or we are
Yeah,
not
it is said that if
relations with them,
neighbor's
then
house
it
is
is the
at
biggest
fire,
problem
then automatically
because
problems will
there
arise
comes the
at our
land.
home.
There comes the land, and no country wants to give even 1 inch of land to other country.
Exactly.
This is a very big problem, and these have to be sorted out with continuous good policies, with political meets, political visits
Now,
to other countries.
Bhuvnesh, conclude, because you have
war
many
is
points, I think.
war is not the solution to anything. Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
Anything can be solved if we communicate well, if we talk, get the other party on the table and talk. The diplomatic talks in the various forums, uh, as we can say, like in the international forums that we meet with other counterparts. they can solve to a great extent the major problems. If we talk about free flow of goods and services among the countries, it somewhat recognizes the need that we are dependent on other countries, and somewhat other countries are also dependent on us. Not every country can fulfill their own needs for everything. If I'm good at producing grain and some other country is good at producing rice, then it should produce rice, and we will produce grain and we will export it and import the rice, and we will export grains and import the rice. So by this, not only we are utilizing our resources to a great extent, but we are also stabilizing relations, good relations. Like in old times, what we used to do, we used to share our things with our neighbors, and we in those times, no one can recognize, no one from a distance can recognize that this is a neighbor or is a part of family. So, if we talk in the same way about the achieving the global peace, it can only be achieved by working in multiple dimensions. Increasing the military power cannot be the solution, but as Mr. Churchill mentioned, that speak softly but carry a big stick and you'll go far.
Yeah.
If we talk about this, so like matlab, there should be a fear in among in other country, if they aggravate a war, or if they instate anything like that. So in conclusion, I will say, to achieve global peace, uh, the solution is working harmoniously uh, with every other country, be it the be it the
All the aspects plays very important role
exactly,
equally, not just economy, not just military, or not
exactly.
just international uh, communities. We have to combinely work for the global peace at a global level,
Hmm.
not just one country or two countries. We have to take into consideration all the countries, whether poor or whether developed. So
If we
in
talk
my
about
opinion,
if we
all
hmm. If we talk about cultural interaction as well, like in India, we have various embassies which teaches their languages, embassies of other countries which teaches their languages and culture. So if I'm learning French, then basically I'll be having a soft corner towards USA and Canada, the major French speaking nations, because I'll be knowing their culture, I'll be knowing their values, and I'll be more connected towards them if we are learning their languages. So all these things combinedly play a very vital role uh, in enhancing the global peace.
एग्जैक्टली सो आप कंक्लूड कर दो बस हमने तो दे दिया कंक्लूजन
Me also. I believe that I believe that there are many factors for the global peace. One is having good political relations with first is our having good relations with our neighbors, solving the land border disputes, having good political
but
relations
it
with
is
our
said
neighbors.
that a neighbor is not a friend, not a ally, so don't rely on the neighbors.
The war starts with the neighbors. Everything starts with the land border disputes. It's a basic
Exactly,
reason
that
from the
is what
history
it
till
is
date,
said that
and it will also be in the future. Until and unless we won't be resolving all these things, it will always come back and again in future also. Land border disputes have to be solved. Good political relations have to be maintained with countries, our neighbors, and around the globe. Good economic relations, good trade relations have to be maintained. It is a very key role. The importance of soft power comes here into role. When the people of the country love you, then they favors, like today if I'll say about Indian people, if I'll ask where do you want to go, USA or China, most 90% will say USA, because
USA.
we have good image of USA in our mind. Similarly, India has good image in the world that India is a peaceful country, it loves peace. Our policy is also that we want peace and will ensure peace for everyone. We do not want to dominate a country. We do not want to take any other's country land into our. Third is having a good military power, because if any country will see that especially our case, if any our neighbors are belligerent, if they'll see like India is a weaker country, they will attack. though military have not need to be used, but it should be there. As Winston
As a
Churchill
deterrent
said,
factor, it should be.
I would agree to it. Yes.
We have very less time left in this meeting. I'll disconnect it and like we'll rejoin.
Okay. Okay.